the shadows of America's Gilded Age, beneath the glittering promise of progress, a brutal truth stalked the land, one that most dared not name. In the late 19th century, as Jim Crow laws tightened their grip on the South, a reign of terror unfolded. Its weapon, the lynch mob. Its targets, black men and women. Its message, submission or else. But in the heart of Memphis, a woman armed only with a pen and her indomitable courage would ignite a war against this terror. Her name was Ida B. Wells, and she would not be silenced. But first, hi, I'm Lacey. Thanks for clicking on this video. If you enjoy this type of content, I invite you to subscribe and become part of our community. All right, let's get back into it. March 9th, 1892, Memphis, Tennessee. The city was tense. Recently freed Black citizens were opening businesses, buying homes, building communities. One such success was the People's Grocery, co-owned by Thomas Moss, Calvin McDowell, and Henry Stewart. Young, educated Black men, all well liked in their neighborhoods. But prosperity bred resentment. Across the street, a white-owned grocery store watched as customers flocked to the Black-owned rival. A confrontation was inevitable. On March 5th, a fight broke out. Deputies were sent and shots were fired. No one was killed, but all three Black owners were arrested. 4 days later, in the dark of the night, a white mob stormed the jail. Moss, McDowell, and Stewart were dragged out to the railroad tracks, known as the Curve. They begged for their lives. They killed us because we were succeeding. Moss is said to have told his wife before his death. The lynching sent shockwaves through the Black community. This was not justice, it was economic sabotage. A warning to any Black citizen who dared to rise above their place. For Ida B. Wells, the horror was personal. She was a close friend to Moss, godmother to his daughter. In her own words, the city of Memphis has demonstrated that neither character nor standing avails the Negro if he dares to protect himself against the white man or become his rival. This was the catalyst. Ida didn't just mourn, she investigated. At the time, white newspapers justified lynching with a single word: rape. The public was told that Black men were lynched to protect white womanhood, a claim repeated so often it became dogma. Ida set out to test this threadbare lie. She pored through hundreds of Southern newspaper clippings, public records, and court dockets. The results were damning. Of the lynchings in 1892 alone, 161 Black men were murdered. Less than 1/3 were even accused of rape or attempted rape. The rest, accused of insulting a white person, vagrancy, using incendiary language, voting the wrong way, or, most often, competing with white businesses. In her pamphlet, Southern Horrors, Lynch Law in All Its Phases, 1892, Ida names names. She documented specific cases. July 1892, Jesse Hodge, lynched in Tennessee. His crime? Testifying against a white woman. June 1892, James Roney in Georgia, accused of disrespect to a white woman, lynched without trial. She wrote, "No one in this section of the country believes that old threadbare lie that Negroes rape white women. This is simply an excuse to cover up the real cause of the lynchings: business rivalry, political ambition, and a desire to keep the Negro down." Her expose did not just shock, it infuriated white leaders. Newspapers denounced her as the Black scoundrel. Her safety was no longer guaranteed. Ida's investigations were published in the Free Speech and Headlight, a Black-owned newspaper in Memphis, where she was both part owner and editor. The headlines pulled no punches. The city of Memphis is in the hands of a mob. As her stories gained traction, the city's power brokers, white business owners, politicians, police, plotted retaliation. On May 27, 1892, while Ida was away in New York, a mob led respected local men, judges, police, store owners, ransacked the Free Speech office. The presses were smashed and the type thrown into the street. A warning was sent: if you value your life, leave Memphis. Ida never returned. Her life was in immediate danger. Her exile would become a new beginning. She later wrote, "They had destroyed my paper, but not my voice." In Chicago, Ida became more methodical, determined to put lynching on trial before the world. She spent months collecting statistics from across the United States, cross-referencing local news, court records, and eyewitness accounts. The result was a red record, the first comprehensive study of lynching in America. Her research revealed the scale of horror. From 1882 to 1892, over 1,100 Black men and women were lynched. Most had never been convicted of any crime. In 1883 alone, 200 people were lynched, nearly all in former slave states. She categorized motives for lynching: 1/3 alleged rape, 2/3 other causes, business disputes, accusations of ignorance, voting, refusing to step off the sidewalk. She mapped the geography. Lynching spiked in cotton-grown regions, especially after Black farmers joined together in unions and won local elections. Ida wrote, "Lynching is color line murder. It is not the work of the ignorant and depraved alone. It is sanctioned by men of standing." Her work forced America to confront the truth. Lynching was not spontaneous mob justice, but a system, an instrument to enforce racial, political, and economic dominance. Blocked by American mainstream newspapers and Black leaders fearful of making trouble, Ida found a new audience: Britain. In 1893, supported by British Quaker Catherine Impey, Wells sailed to England. There, she addressed the London Lyceum Club, the Women's Liberal Federation, and packed church halls, laying out lynching's true purpose: to terrify Black citizens, stop them from voting, and destroy their prosperity. British audiences, who had heard only American stories of lawlessness, were horrified. The press exploded. The London Times called lynching a barbarism unparalleled in the modern world. Parliament members debated resolutions, and British women's organizations pressured American officials to intervene. For the first time, U.S. officials felt a sense of international shame over the South's secret. Wells' tour also rallied support and funding for African American institutions. British activists helped establish scholarships and sent protest letters to U.S. embassies. She returned to America a global figure, but still haunted by lynch mobs and still dismissed by many Black male leaders who resented her for her radicalism. Ida B. Wells never stopped. She would help fund the NAACP, campaign for Black suffrage, and launch campaigns against Jim Crow laws. But her greatest weapon remained her record, her facts, her name, her relentless light on the darkness. Lynching did not end with her words. Congress would pass anti-lynching legislation in her lifetime, yet her legacy stands unbroken. She forced America and the world to face the ugly truth behind the myth of Southern justice. She showed that the pen could be mightier than the mob. As she wrote, "The way to right wrongs is to turn the truth of light upon them." Ida B. Wells' light could never be dimmed. If you found this story as captivating as I did, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. We will continue to uncover more untold stories from history, stories that reveal the hidden truths of those who lived in the shadows of society's boundaries.